What's going on, Soul Nation? Ginger Prime here, and it's been over a week since Mixer announced that it was shutting down and encouraging its partners to move over to Facebook Gaming. Many have been taking that road, and many have been moving over to Twitch. One such person, DM21 Gaming, has decided to come on and give his story about what was going on behind the scenes over at Mixer and his impression of obviously the situation and why he chose to go to Twitch over Facebook. Now, you can check the playhead of this video or the description if you want to just jump to that interview. It's really quite fascinating. Just a heads up, there is some adult language featured as a part of the interview. Hopefully you don't mind, but that's going to be a part of this episode. Before we dive into that interview, I'm going to go through my analytics. For the past week, I've been uploading videos and doing some live streams over on Facebook Gaming, and I haven't been promoting it. I've been just relying on their algorithm to test out its discoverability. Now, you'll see in the bottom below, I do have a link to my Facebook gaming page that you can go check and follow if you so desire, but I don't really require that whatsoever. This is going to be about discoverability on the platform. So if you're deciding whether or not to test out Facebook Gaming, I want to give you an insight as to this, as well as my other YouTube channels, this one included, regarding reach, discoverability, and more. We kind of covered this a little bit in other videos talking about how to grow your channel fast and things like that, so you should check out that video if you want. But let's go ahead and at this time dive in to the numbers. It's going to be looking at insights for the last 7 days. And obviously right now, everything is looking in the green because I've been uploading these videos. The nice thing is that I can actually upload in bulk, which has allowed me to be able to kind of really seed this platform with a lot of my content that you find here on Ginger Prime and even stuff that you might find over at Work to Game. Let's go ahead and dive more into the insights though, because this is where I think it gets interesting. We're going to look at performance. We're going to look at loyalty. There really isn't enough data under audience to really have any kind of insights. I was looking at this beforehand, and we're going to look at retention. And then with this information, we're going to shift over to Ginger Gaming Radio and even Ginger Prime to look at the numbers and kind of give you guys some insights about platform discoverability. And then we'll dive into our interview with DM. So you can see here over the last week, in this case, over 433 minutes viewed. 34 of those views came from 1 minute, or longer videos. 414 of that is from at least 3 seconds. It's interesting how Facebook Gaming breaks down the 3 second versus 1 minute. 67 engagements, which is 100% up from the previous 7 days. And 17 net followers, 116 or 1,600% greater in the last 7 days. Here's where it's interesting. Obviously, all of this is organic. You can see I'm not paying for promotion. That's just not what I think it should be about, and I would not encourage you to do so. So it'll be neat to see if over time, if YouTube, or Facebook in this case, really wants you to start using their boost kind of feature. But 100% of the traffic is organic. Posted from this perspective is just me posting on Ginger Prime, but I also have the Work to Game Facebook page as well. So I've been doing cross posting, and on that you can see nothing has come from cross posting. However, 15% has come from shared, which is great to see. It's interesting. Thank you for sharing out videos here, there, wherever. Followers and non-followers. 78% of the views came from those who've already followed my page. So most likely you're part of my family if you've been following me over here, I guess. And then obviously people who have discovered it and things like that have, those were the views and the minutes viewed come from. Non-followers, 21%. Live versus video. So video is those uploads that I make. Typically that's what you see here, but 32% of that comes from live content. So that's really great to see. Let's jump into loyalty. This is where you start to see net followers, returning viewers, where it looks like it's up to Sunday in this case, and complete views, those who actually, I'm assuming, have watched 100% of the video, which is incredible to see. So 18 new followers, 1 people who have unfollowed. So thank you. I don't know why, but it is what it is. It happens naturally, no matter what. Maybe the content has changed with live streaming. And then you don't see a lot more information. I think it's still too early to tell about what all of this ultimately means. But in the fact is that by doing this for 1 week without really promoting or pushing, that 17 new followers that didn't exist. The question I have is that, are those followers people who already follow me here, or are those followers just brand new and completely new overall? And I won't know yet. If you are somebody who follows me here and there, let me know and I can start to kind of get an idea of how many people don't, because ultimately that will be very interesting for me to see and know, namely because I think that's going to help talk about discoverability. At the end of the day, if you're using this video as a form of talking about or trying to think about getting into content creation, don't just pick one platform. You can't You can't survive off of that. You can have something what Mixer did to you. The rules can change, the game can change. So be somebody who's diverse and trying out new things on all different platforms. Here's where retention gets into the information that I think you might most care about. Recommendations, in this case, 7% of my views came from recommendations. 78% came from followers. Thank you guys. And 14% came from shared. We're going to keep tracking this recommendation. So just as we kind of update you guys on the state of Mixer Gaming, the state of Facebook Gaming, the state of Twitch, and of YouTube, just keep in mind that this is going to be something that we're going to keep watching. Average time spent watching, you can see here, it looks like, I'm guessing that's, 24 seconds. So yeah, you can see how that's broken down. Does it let me pick organic versus paid? Shares versus followers. Okay, that's really cool. So recommendations, 10 seconds. So I'm not making it necessarily a big splash when it's recommended to people. From followers, they're sticking around for a minute. And from shares, they're sticking around from 6 seconds. So those who are sharing, people are watching at least 6 seconds of it. Recommendations, a little bit more. Followers, definitely way more. So obviously somebody hit follower, they're more interested in it. How long are people watching? 31% for the 3 seconds, 25%, I guess, all the way up to this one who are at least watching 1 minute views. Lots of really cool data. And you can see here just the range of even the videos that I've posted, how their audience retention is performing. And it's just a wide range of different stuff overall. Live stream seems to have some later spikes in it. So maybe people are returning, or maybe that's getting recommended and they're finishing it out. So you can kind of see some really cool information. Hopefully that's been interesting. I wanted to kind of shift this over here to Ginger Gaming Radio. So this is the new channel that I've been doing my podcast stuff on, longer form content. Overall, you can see subscribers themselves kind of, it depends on if there's something that's exciting to be talked about on the podcast. Earlier in the month, obviously at the launch of PSO2, the issues with it driving subscribers and views way more. And then in this case, it looks like Sunday I lost a subscriber, and that's, that is what it is. So it seems in parity with what we're looking at with Facebook Gaming. When we look at engagement, we can kind of see here watch time overall is up, and that is continuing to kind of have its trend. Overall, this is, again, the beginning of the month was more focused, obviously, on the launch of PSO2, and average view duration here is much higher, rocking and rolling around almost 10 minutes for that as well. Now, Reach is talking about impressions and discoverability with Ginger Gaming Radio. It's a different kind of content than unnecessarily you see here around Ginger Prime. And overall, let me just turn off my notifications. It's like, hey, I've got meetings that are coming up. Of course I do. And then you can see here, total impressions, 67,000, click-through rate, 3.6%. And then you can see views over here up to 4,300. And that's just going to see how it's going. And then overall, where is it coming from? Channel pages, browse features, director unknown, search, and suggested videos. So overall, I think things are getting obviously more suggested here on YouTube as a platform itself, but different content, different days. That's going to be how it ultimately breaks out. I think at this point, we do want to dive into actually Ginger Prime itself. This is the content that's more in line and parity with what we've seen over on Facebook so far, minus a few live streams, but I have done a couple cross streams with like Avengers. It's done particularly well. 5 million impressions, and click-through rate is just below that of Ginger Gaming at 3.2%. 238,000 views overall, and you can see here just coming off the tail of of what we've seen with PSO2 and the hype around the game's launch, and obviously the issues with that, and you can kind of see it just kind of trending more into its normal sense. This is what I would call kind of a normal period of time before kind of the next big games that I'm excited about covering kind of hit and things like that. And you can kind of see what is being recommended and what playlists and external wise is what's coming. We're working on a couple of cool projects in and of itself. And the engagement wise, we've covered that a little bit, and for some reason the browser's choosing to freeze up, which is always fun as it goes when you're recording. Let's see if we can get that going. Watch time overall is down a little bit, but average view duration for these videos, which tend to be a little bit shorter, is up, obviously much higher than what we're seeing right now on Facebook. And that brings me to kind of my current conclusion based off of the numbers, and we still have to wait and see, is it comes down to is that Facebook, in my hypothesis here, is that it's encouraging, or it's bringing the videos to a different audience. And I don't really like the term audience. I like the term community, but let's just call a spade and use the generic term that both Facebook, Twitch, everybody's kind of using in this case, which is audience. And so it's being able to maybe expose my videos to to a wider range of people who might not necessarily like YouTube, or might spend all their time on Facebook, or might not like Twitch. And that's really what it's going to be about. Now, Facebook is spending a lot of money on this, and this is going to be interesting to see, but there's still a long way to go, as you'll hear from this collab with DM when he's talking about Bicycle Walruses. He's got so many great names. As he starts to talk about why he picked Twitch over Facebook, over YouTube, and the issues within Mixer, and that pretty much behind the scenes exposed story about what's been going on for the last year and a half over on that platform, and what really ultimately led to its demise, and hopefully what will bring about a better future for content creation. So guys, if you have any questions about these stats, about these numbers, let me know. I'm here to hopefully help encourage and guide on what some of these things mean. Hopefully this has been an interesting part and start to this video. I know there's a lot to unpack here because there's so much to be talked about, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of this video and this interview. So let's go ahead and cut it over to DM21, dude. How you been?
Doing all right, man. I've got my coffee.
I see.
I started a garden.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Growing tomatoes. I got some squash going. Got some corn. I'm going to pickle. I'm getting into pickling.
How's your head feeling? Like, you got punched in the face this week. Former Mixer partner, guys, like Bicycle Walrus, fantastic content creator. How are you feeling?
Well, the coffee mugs are getting bigger. I could tell you that. And sleep is a commodity that's greatly treasured. And otherwise, I'm feeling as good as you probably can feel. I'm in a better position than a lot of others because I have presence on YouTube and on Twitter, and I have a community that's been with me for years. So honestly, I don't think this is having as significant an impact on me as it would some people whose entire presence was built up on Mixer. But for me, I honestly, other than having to switch everybody over to a new platform, and had a really busy week, it really hasn't slowed me down too much.
How has that process been going? Because one of the things that we've seen time and time again, outside of this seems unprecedented
Sure.
for the most part. But when you see like even Ninja coming over to Mixer, and when you see somebody trying to shift a whole community to another platform, that traditionally has been incredibly difficult no matter the size. This is different because the platform that essentially you're leaving, Mixer, is no more. At this point, especially on July 22nd, it ceases to operate. How has the process been?
Easy. I'm going to be real with you, okay?
Yeah, please.
All right, I'm just going to level with you. Everybody makes it sound like we're hurting. And some people, particularly those who were just getting partnered on Mixer, those are the guys who are absolutely hurting. The creatives side of the house, those people who were doing body painting, beer brewing, I think a Fourth Room Brewing, PT Bar Pun, even Robot Giggles, who does play games but also does cosplay. People like them who have a very, very serious creative outlet, there was no place for them on Facebook gaming. So basically they had no lifeline, no golden parachute like Ninja and Shroud got. And they were left out in the cold. But luckily, those guys tend to have really good Instagram networks, tend to be really hot up on Twitter. Some of them even have YouTube. So, it's one of those things. If you're a pro in the business, you can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And so like for me, like I said before, I have a presence on YouTube. I've been making content for 5 years. It's not something that I just woke up one day and said, I'm just going to go to Mixer. And, no, it's a business. It's a business. And if you weren't planning for the demise of Mixer, then you weren't taking your content creation platform seriously. If you were a streamer on Mixer. So it was always in the back of my mind,
How long was it always in the back of your mind? Because obviously 2020 has been unprecedented, and we don't need to obviously rehash like every crazy month that we've had thus far this year. But as far as it goes, like, was
2020 is different than every other year? Are you sure?
Yeah, at least according.
This isn't normal.
I don't know. It's starting to feel normal, and that's scary. That's the worst thing. But overall, this year's just been unprecedented. Like, was this something that you felt was coming? When somebody asked me about it, for me, I was like, Yeah, like I felt like something was happening. I didn't know if Mixer was going to try to license out its technology
Sure.
to others and things like that for what they were building. But I've always felt this was coming from a Microsoft platform perspective, especially after the numbers with COVID were released. And when we saw Facebook Gaming, Twitch, and YouTube are the platforms that grew, Mixer didn't. And it was just like, wow, why did nobody watch Mixer streams? So did you have any inclination about this, or was this just a total gut check?
Well, no, I knew that they were in trouble since PAX East 2018. And that's where things started going downhill. The question was how far downhill were they going to let it go?
Yeah.
And would they be able to correct course? So prior to PAX East 2018, let me tell you what was going on.
Please.
At the time, there was a broad support for the partners. No one was really being favored over another. There were a few whispers of algorithm mix-ups and things like that, but we really didn't get into sort of the problem that Mylan Lee or Millie, I don't know if you want to cover that or not, but we didn't really start seeing those issues be really
the racist slave issue.
Yeah, the racist slave issue. We didn't really feel that until about PAX East 2018. And that's when we really started to feel it. It was in that, like before then, it was very much an equal opportunity platform. It was being run by partner managers who had a really, really good understanding of the business. You had a really good opportunity to grow. You were on a very unsaturated platform that was growing. At that time in early 2018, late 2017, the platform was growing exceptionally well. And it was a great tight-knit community. Everybody knew everybody. And you have to understand something, streaming on Mixer wasn't like streaming on Twitch.
Right.
In the sense that, yeah, you do have your communities on Twitch. But the thing is, there's just so many. And you kind of get stuck in your little community that's part of a bigger ocean. And Mixer, it didn't matter what you were doing. You could be cooking and you'd be hanging out with Jared FPS. You could be drumming, so we had drummers, and you could be hanging out with somebody like me who plays No Man's Sky back in 2018. That's a different subject, but in any case, okay.
Yeah.
So that's just how it was. We all hung out. We weren't affiliating with one another as I'm a JRPG streamer or I'm a FPS streamer. No, it was we're content creators, and we were trying to build this platform. To us, it felt like a platform that was built by creators, and it felt awesome. And in fact, that January, I was at PAX South. I was paid to be there. I helped run the Mixer booth at PAX South that year. We had a game called Darwin Project, where I used to do shoutcasting. Was doing it professionally at the time out of the Mixer NYC and others, and we were having a great old time. And that booth was packed. It was packed. I mean, we were the most busy booth on that entire convention floor, and that's not an exaggeration. Everybody knew it. And we were showing off Mixer Interactive, which is sort of like the Twitch extensions of today.
Yeah.
Except back then, Twitch extensions didn't exist. Mixer was pushing the envelope on this. We had tech and stuff that Twitch wasn't even thinking of at the time. In fact, it was that same year at GDC, they unveiled the idea, hey, let's do extensions, and this is what we can do with extensions, and really get into that, right? Mixer pushed them forward. So at the time, we were cutting edge. We had the FTL, low latency. We were able to send them up to bit rates of, I think, 10K, which I think Twitch is limited to 6K, if I'm not mistaken. And so we were able to push, even try to do 4K 30 frames per second and things like that. Now, over time, the platform became a bit unstable and it kind of went downhill. But the thing that really oh, something's wrong was at PAX East 2018. We went there and they started handing us shirts. Now they give us shirts every convention, which is awesome. But these were Fortnite branded t-shirts. And I have a problem with that because basically you made a deal with Epic Games and Fortnite to get all the Mixer partners to wear Fortnite t-shirts. I'm not getting any money for that advertising. Since when do I get, when, that doesn't make any sense to me. No, you don't have to wear the shirt. No, I don't have to wear the shirt. But I don't think everybody looked at it the same way. They didn't
It looks
realize.
bad if you don't wear the shirt. I mean, just like
Yeah.
when you think about it, when all of a sudden it's like if they want to get like a group shot, it's like, hey, everybody with the new shirt, get in, everybody without it. Or you're going to be like, hey, who's this guy? There's a old photograph that we had that I saw, and it was of a graduating Marine class. And
Yeah.
it's like, there's like 200 guys, all stone, like cold, like disciplined, etc. And there's one guy in the dead center going, just smiling real big. And it's that one guy. And then the story is that was his last day as a Marine.
Oh,
And
no.
but he was so happy, like, but it's because essentially like there is this team mindset, there is this idea that we're in this together. So that's interesting to see that and obviously Fortnite at that time was exploding. That's when Ninja was exploding. That's when that's
Fortnite was the game. The thing about it is that that was around that same period of time that we felt pressure, particularly at the Mixer NYC studio. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but we had a beautiful studio run by professionals, a group of actual, like, these are the guys who work Today's Show producing, and these are guys who are coming from MLB, Major League Baseball networks, and like these guys are pros.
Yeah,
they're the best of the business. You don't get better than them. And we were so lucky to have them, like lucky and just incredibly privileged to have them. And they had this beautiful studio in the Microsoft flagship store in New York City. And it was probably the best produced content I'd ever seen on live stream anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on there as a shoutcaster. People like Captain's Brand now on Twitch. Everybody had to change their branding. Captain's Brand on Twitch was on there. Jim Basco, you might recognize him from Cheddar News, Cheddar Esports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now I think he's on something else. But Jim Basco and I used to shoutcast together. We had a great time there, and it was all out of the studio, and it was just a beautiful studio, and we started realizing, at least I started here, because you hear things when you work at places, that the people over at Mixer HQ did not like this studio, and we did not know. Like I was always trying to find out why, because I wanted to diffuse the situation. You have to understand, the Mixer NYC was one hell of an opportunity, but they weren't being featured like they should be. It was a premier studio. It was better than anything I've ever seen in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Run by people who are just exceptionally talented. If you have an asset like that, wouldn't you feature it? And the thing about the shows we were running, we were always covering Mixer partners. We were doing tournaments and competitions that featured Mixer partners, and everybody was excited about it. Everybody knew about the Mixer NYC Gauntlet. Everybody knew, which is a PUBG tournament, know. And when we had Cuphead shows or Forza Horizon shows or whatever, Game Pass shows, come to find out, and this has been more or less publicly talked about later on, the individual who made the slave comments was basically upset that they wanted to pick who showed up at the Mixer NYC, and they were telling them who not to invite. Needless to say, after PAX East 2018, I got on the do not invite list. But, and the reason why is because I didn't wear the shirt.
Exactly.
And
you're not a team player.
I complained.
Mm-hmm.
And so I complained because we have a situation where someone at Mixer was picking winners and losers. Now, this is before we knew about the slave comments, but someone at Mixer was picking winners and losers. And we could see it in how often people were manually promoted.
Mm-hmm.
We could see it based, and like we have this guy Nickgasm _ on Twitch. I'm plugging everybody.
I'll plug away, dude. Like that's the whole, like, as the ship migrates. Yeah.
Hey, look, I love that community. I love the people who stream on that platform. They didn't deserve what happened, so I'm going to do what I can. I'm plugging as many people as I can. But Nickgasm _ on Twitch, you can find him over there. He actually has this website where he will show you when you were manually featured and when you were algorithmically featured. And you can actually query their API and find out how many times people were manually featured. And sure enough, people were being manually featured even before Shroud and Ninja came by. They were being like their success, and I'm not trying to say that they're not talented or anything like that. Just understand that when you have somebody who's constantly throwing your face up in front of everybody, disproportionately to everyone else on the platform, yes, some of your success is due to that. You were getting free advertising. That advertising is worth thousands. Maybe even tens or hundreds of thousands, depending. Like imagine Microsoft professionally, advertising and distributing your face to everybody who just goes to Mixer.com, or goes to the Mixer tab on their Xbox. Your face is there. That's what we're talking about when I say manually featuring these people.
Right.
Which inflates their numbers, which basically puts them at the top of their categories, which does a number of things. And
Twitch seems to have some of a similar problem in which that you got to be, and I've kind of always thought of it as, especially in live streaming content, it's that you have the upper class. If you're in the top 100, like that's where, like, wow, like life is good, things are going great. And then everybody else is fighting for, there's not really a middle class. The middle class exists, but they're just as poor and hungry. And, it's like variable as essentially like you would say somebody who's just like an affiliate or just starting out. And,
sure.
And so that's just how it's like with live, it's interesting. And so but continue, because I didn't want to derail you too much.
And so the thing is that I had complained and I said, what about the creatives? Because we had these features on Mixer that no one else, like you don't have these on Twitch. Yeah, you get the featuring stuff, right? We had Channel 1, which was a channel where people would get bonus sparks for watching it. So if you wanted extra sparks and things, you would watch Channel 1, right? Back in 2018, Channel 1 was way important. Like that was like a great way to make money because sparks actually equaled money back then. So you would have Channel 1, which would feature, and you would have thousands of people, just like 3,000 people just tuned into your stream. Oh, hello, 3,000 people. It's wild, right? And then we had Hype Zone, which would basically be a thing where it would track every stream and see how close you were to winning the game. And then it would feature you because you were the closest to winning. And people would watch it. So they were always watching top 10 situations all the time on Mixer, which was a really cool feature, right? But it only supported a handful of games and one type of streamer. So if you're somebody who does art, you don't get Hype Zone. If you're somebody who plays No Man's Sky, you don't get Final Fantasy 14, baby. That's right. 10% left on the boss health bar. Let's go. I mean, like that.
Beyond the boss health, it's like, what is it? Also, the story and the cutscenes. Nobody wants that spoiled.
No, what's that? But I mean, like the thing is,
cut to this guy with the beard. Like, oh my gosh, it's so.
But there's no Final Fantasy 14 Hype Zone, right? So I mean, like, let's get real here. It was only featuring a single group of people. And I know how powerful that was because day one of PUBG Hype Zone, I was in the top 5 of featured channels. That's right. My channel used to be a winner. I used to be manually pushed. I used to get the extra bonus. I used to get all of that shit.
Yeah.
Until I complained. And I complained. And I said, look, you need to take care of the creatives. You need to take care of these guys. You need to take care of those guys. Remember, Microsoft was paying me to go to places like GDC. They're paying for me to go to places like PAX South. I was a feature broadcaster at the Mixer NYC. I felt at the time that I was a leader of the platform and that my voice had a bit of weight. And so with that weight, because people were talking to me, I believe comes responsibility. And so it's not just me looking out for myself. It's now me looking out for everybody else.
Right.
Because I wanted to help Mixer be the best platform it could possibly be. And so it was at that time. After that, the Mixer NYC totally dismantled. They got rid of the studio entirely. Not saying it's because of me, though they were mad at that studio the whole time anyways. Mixer NYC pretty much taken away. So we lost that. And that was a terrible shame. As for me, I stopped getting features. In fact, I was blacklisted. I was told by my future partner manager that that I was not allowed to get into certain promotions. Now, I was told that after I asked, and this was roughly a year and a half after the incident. And
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, why aren't I getting picked up for these promotions anymore?" I knew the answer, but I wanted to know if she'd tell me the truth. Well, she told me that she didn't know what happened, but but they weren't giving me promotions. And I was like, okay, so I'm no longer a full partner. I am now being punished for something that I have never been counseled for or told what I did wrong. And there's no way that I can be brought back. There was no way for me to fix the situation or the
So
problem.
why stick with Mixer at that point? Because I mean, obviously, like throughout, from that point, year and a half to today, last year they signed Ninja, big news, big spike. Why stick with Mixer? For I would say because once you found that out and had it confirmed, that sounds to me, like there was a good 6 months where like you could have gone anywhere, or was it? Did it just make more sense to wait till the thing crumbled and then move because it might have been harder to pull your community across?
So there's a couple reasons. One, we already did a switch from YouTube to Mixer.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how hard that is to make a switch.
Yeah.
It's easier when you're forced to do it.
Yeah.
The other thing too is that you get set up into a routine. Your audience knows where to find you. You know how to work algorithms, and you know how to because I was still doing great despite not having those features. Like during this period of time, I still was able to get 6,000 concurrent viewers on a No Man's Sky stream. Okay, this is not a joke. I was able to do it. So I wasn't necessarily hurting. The I think the big thing was that I was holding on to what the platform was before PAX East 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I was holding on to what the platform was. And, I always kind of saw Twitch as sort of this challenging monolith that was difficult to scale unless I had buy-in from a large group of my community. A large group of my community did not like Twitch.
Right.
That's why they were watching Mixer.
Right.
They, for whatever reason, did not like Twitch. So without having that community follow me over, Twitch would be incredibly challenging because it's oversaturated. It is. You're talking about a platform with over 2 million, 3 million broadcasters, which is insane if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it was one of those things where it's like, well, maybe I could fix this because I was a Beam partner before Beam became Mixer.
Right.
I was there at the beginning and I felt like I had some ownership over there. And, it's that sense of responsibility
Mm-hmm.
that you get, where you're just kind of like, okay, we helped build this thing. I want to see it succeed.
Right.
I poured in years of work into this thing. I want to see it succeed. So, maybe it's one of those situations where I was looking out for people who didn't have my best interest at heart. Which, well, I say maybe. I know now that's for a fact, and it's upsetting. But the thing is that when Millie came out, and just for those, I don't know if you gave background on this, but basically, when Millie came out and said, no, this person who's practically in charge of the whole thing looked at partners and said, they are my slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And I controls who succeeds and who fails on this platform. That is somebody who instilled a culture of racism across the entire organization. Now, you can say, but B-dubs, you're white as hell. Yeah, I get it. And
Last
the thing,
I checked.
yeah, the thing is that when I say a culture of racism, what I'm saying is that it's a culture of people who feel that they have ownership over their partners, that they own them. You don't own people, guys, even if they're your partners, if they're streaming on your platform or whatever. You don't own those people. And we should be having a culture of equitability, that those who are the most talented naturally will flow to the top. not the people we feel
Right.
will stay in line and represent the brand correctly.
Equal
Those are the
opportunity,
guys.
not equal of outcome.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, yeah, everybody can come and then the outcome will be different, but it's based off of
Yes.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
And so when I say a culture of racism, what I'm saying is that that mindset of they are my slaves is a racist mindset. Okay. I don't know how else to put it. And basically to then control opportunity, deny others opportunity who are just as talented or even more talented than the ones that you actually give the talent, the opportunity to. If you got a bunch of people who are just going to fall in line and they're going to say whatever you want them to say and do whatever you want them to do, and those are the people you're going to give opportunities to, then you're going to have a soulless platform of people who are talented, yeah, in their own right. Again, I'm not trying to insult anybody who was a winner on that platform. Mixer was great, but at the same time, you had incredibly talented individuals who just were never able really to succeed. And the interesting thing about this is that as soon as we all migrated to Twitch, suddenly those exceptionally talented people already getting thousands of concurrents on Twitch, already doubling, tripling, quadrupling their subscriber counts that they had on Mixer. They're now getting double, triple, quadruple that amount on Twitch. And it's like, gee, what was holding them back? It was almost as though there was some mysterious hand picking winners and losers.
So I have I guess my next and the biggest question that I have for you in that regards, because that really does summarize it. I think I got a real good feel for the experience that you guys have been going through. Why not Facebook gaming is essentially kind of the idea, and it's that obviously when you look at now I would say the three platforms are Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. All of those platforms experiencing growth. xCloud can't go to YouTube, can't go to Twitch, and maybe even the question is why not YouTube or Facebook gaming? Why Twitch in this case, especially with its saturation? What are your thoughts, especially for your channel? But I know some people are obviously taking the Facebook life raft, if it's considered. What's your thoughts?
Well, you're going to get me in trouble.
Well, that's the goal.
Yeah, I know. You do a really good job of doing that every time we talk. Because I'm going to answer truthfully. I always do.
That's why I like your content. That's why I've always enjoyed.
First question though is does Facebook have night mode?
Yeah.
Okay, it does. Okay. Damn. Shit. I was really hoping I'd get away with an easy one, right? There's no night mode. I ain't going there.
Oh, I hear you. Like, like, oh my gosh, like it's another monitor. Anyway, yeah.
So no, so Facebook in and of itself has several major problems with it to me. The first thing is that they have it's a gaming only platform. So if you do web shows like I do, or if you do body painting, cooking, brewing, art, there's no category for you. You must be associated with a game. And by the way, they don't always list every game.
Right.
And so if you're playing a game that's not listed, well, then you're SOL. You don't have a category. So just that right off the bat was a big turnoff for me, because that meant all the creatives who were on Mixer had no lifeline to Facebook at all.
Yeah.
And I love my creatives. And that is actually one of the root problems of Mixer is that the creatives on Mixer, yeah, they had a category. They were pretty easy to search through. It was pretty dope. But the problem with it was that they weren't getting anywhere near the amount of featuring as certain other classes of streamers, and they were constantly told, we're going to make it better, we're going to do this creative thing for you guys, don't worry, it's coming. It was like that for 2.5 years. They were saying that it started with this April Fool's joke, an April Fool's joke where they came out with something called Chill Zone that apparently some of the employees at Mixer thought it was fucking hilarious, but sorry for the language. But basically what it was that for 24 hours, we're going to go and jump between these like chill streams, these creative streams, or sort of these low action, sort of relaxing streams. And every 15 or 30 minutes, they would switch from one stream to another, to another, to another. Chill Zone was a massive success. Everybody loved it. And they were like, can we have Chill Zone permanently? like just for people who who don't necessarily want to watch people shooting each other with guns, for
It's
people
not
who don't
it's not always
you know
about the guns.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like for maybe where I can watch somebody make a meal, or maybe I can watch somebody do some drawing, or I can watch somebody play No Man's Sky. I'm really plugging No Man's Sky. I don't know why. Anyways,
It's
you know,
crossplay and in Game Pass. I'm gonna eventually try it out.
if you try it out today, you might be pleasantly surprised. Just be careful. It's a 379-hour tutorial. Anyways, so that's not a joke. And so the thing is that uh without having support for creatives, I have a hard time supporting the platform because I do creative things. Sometimes I just want to show people my process when I make videos. I'll just make a video on stream. Why not? That's fun. People and sometimes people go, "Have you thought about doing this? Have you thought about doing that? Oh my gosh, that's a good idea. Let me go do that." Wow, it's brilliant. And then I learn and I get better, and people watch me and they learn and they get better, and it's awesome. Sometimes I just want to do that. There's no category for me on Facebook, and so, and this is where I want to get in trouble. I'm sorry, but Facebook gaming, it just strikes me as a platform that is designed to advertise games with glorified brand advocates, which is not why I got into content creation. And I don't know how many people want to get into content creation to be a brand advocate. I'm not here to sell OxyClean. I'm here to put on a show. Now if OxyClean wants to sponsor me, then hi. DM21 Constellation on Twitch. And I'll be more than happy. Also, Squatty Potty at one point sponsored our show called The Morning Dump. It was a good time. But
Yeah.
the thing is, it's like, if you want to sponsor me, that's fine. But you're not going to come to me and be like, "Yo, can you be a brand advocate for this game?" And that happens occasionally. Bless Unleashed, for example. The thing is I was already a brand advocate because I love the game and I still do. I know I don't play it. I just don't have the time for it. But the thing is that Bless Unleashed was if you're going to come to me and say, "I want to offer you a partnership to be a brand advocate
For something you're already doing.
for something I'm already doing," I'm going to say yes.
Mhm.
I have no problems being a
Right.
brand advocate if I genuinely like it and want to be a part of it.
Yeah, if Sega came to me and said, "Hey, do you want to be a Sega partner?" Or Square Enix said, "Hey, do you want to yeah, you're already making I'm already making Phantasy Star content and Final Fantasy content and things like that." It's like,
Yeah.
oh, what does that mean? I would, for me, I think it would be like, what does that actually mean? Because it's like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm just here to talk about the stuff I love. But yeah, I hear you. It's like, okay, wait a minute. You want to give me information or sponsor me to a degree and for stuff I'm already doing? Like, I've already made the video. You want me to just toss in, "Hey, thank you, Square," or "Thank you, Sega"? It's like, okay, I'll consider it. I'm not
Yeah.
opposed. This doesn't pay well.
So and that's the thing, and I absolutely love Bless Unleashed. Yeah, it's a great game, highly immersive. I know everybody's like, "Bless Online is Bless Unleashed," and like, no, it's the two different games. Whatever.
I know, man. I
You're
wonder
probably
if
going to
they.
cut this shit out of the interview anyways, but it's worth a shot, guys. It's gotten better too, by the way, since launch. They just had a major update the other day, and I haven't played it since. But they just had a major update that streamlined a lot of things and added some quality of life and some other cool stuff to it. So yeah, it's worth a shot. But to get back onto Facebook gaming,
Mhm.
The other things about it is they are not being equitable. So we already have a problem where Mixer partners are leaving an abusive relationship, and they are. That's what it was. We're leaving an abusive relationship. And I understand why Facebook wants to do this, right? These guys had this huge following, so we're going to make special deals with those guys. They had that huge following because they were advantaged. We're coming out of this and they were advantaged. There's no other way I can say that. I'm sorry if that offends some of the bigger names, but it's just true. You were advantaged. We all knew about it. And I know you knew about it because some of y'all told me you knew. So, and I used to be advantaged. I know what it's like to have it. So the thing is that those people who were advantaged had an advantage the entire time they're on Mixer are now getting private meetings with Facebook people and getting special contracts. And, we see who are getting these special contracts. It's pretty flippin' obvious when they get them. The partners are not doing a really good job of being hush hush about it. They're just outright saying, "Oh, guys, I think we closed a deal. I think we're going to do this." Like, okay, I know what you're doing. You had a private meeting, all right, and you're going to get a contract that the average partner would not get. And again, I kind of get where it's coming from, but the thing is that your views were inflated artificially. Let's remember that. Your followership was inflated artificially. Let's remember that. It wasn't done organically. When you had hundreds of thousands of followers on Mixer, for example, it wasn't quite the same as getting there on Twitch. It's not quite the same. And I know that's going to offend some people, but I'm sorry, because of the situation. It's well documented, and I used to be a beneficiary of this, so I know how it works. The thing is that they're getting special meetings where the common partner is being told, no, we can't meet with you. And I've been told this. I haven't gone through this process at all. I haven't even clicked the link that they sent me in my email. I've been told this from people who have gone down that a little bit, and people who have actually um, tried to work a deal with Facebook. They signed NDAs, so I can't name names, but that's how it goes. I didn't sign an NDA, by the way. I honor my NDAs. But that being said, the thing is that I won't honor theirs, but I'll keep their name out of it. But yeah, so that's what's happening. And so once again, we're in a situation where Facebook is picking winners and losers, where people are getting preferential treatment over others, where people are taking inflated stats, analytics, and numbers as opposed to talent. Well, how am I supposed to talent groom these people? And I'll tell you how. You don't give anybody preferential treatment. Why do we got to give people preferential treatment? Stop buying partners. That was one of Mixer's biggest mistakes, and they knew early on that buying partners was a bad way to go. That came out of a training class that Wes Wilson, someone who used to be a partner manager, actually revealed to everybody. It's like, no, we knew we don't buy partners. We were told not to buy partners at a training that we all took, and we were all happy about it, and we gave this information out to everybody. And then this individual who seems to think partners are slaves said, no, we're going to buy them anyways. And that's when the Shroud and Ninja deals started going off. I mean, the whole thing was
kicked off kind of a content creator kind of rates. You've seen it with PewDiePie now. You've seen it with many people. Oh, yeah. Everybody kind of wanting to lock up and shore up those kind of views. And so it's essentially, I mean, it's driven. It's primarily a business decision. 100%.
Hey, if you get the offer, take the money, man. I mean, look, how did Ninja and Shroud come out of this?
Oh, they came out fantastic. In fact, they're both free agents. Both, like somebody was saying, like, man, why didn't a Ninja take the 60 million instead of the 30? And I go, at what point does 30 extra million dollars really going to drive that big of an impact on you? Yeah, it's going to have some options, but right now he can still choose to do what he wants if he wants to do anything at all. Like we honestly don't know. And we're going to just have to wait and see what he does, what anybody else does. But the guy is set for life. He got paid over $30 million for streaming on to a platform for less than a year. I mean, what does that break down to a day? That's better than athletes all over the world.
Let me tell you something. I mean, since when did any of us get into the streaming game motivated by money? I know some people were. Don't get me wrong. I get it.
I think if you start seeing people get paid, that's going to drive more people's interest. But yeah, no, I haven't done if I got into this for the money, it's like, man, I was like, there are minimum wage jobs that I can get that pay better.
Oh, you kidding me? Unemployment would pay better than what I'm getting right now, and I don't qualify for it. So fuck. But anyways,
yeah.
But yeah, no, at this point, honestly, you don't do this stuff for money. You do it. I did it for freedom. I came from a 6-figure salary job. Okay, I did. And I left that to make content. I left that because I was tired of working for the man. I wanted to work for myself. And you know, there have been times in this content creation journey where I did better than my old life. But that's very fleeting, rare and far between. And you know, you can't count on it. You can never count on it, but it's you know, but at the same time, I work for myself. I control my destiny, and I have a lot more freedom. I set my hours. I do what I want to do today. I don't know how many people can wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I do what I want to do today. And that's pretty special.
So where can people find you on Twitch now?
Twitch.tv.
And what's your YouTube? Yeah.
Twitch.tv/DM21 Constellation. Yes, it's changed. And same with YouTube, DM21 Constellation.
All right, guys.
You can find me.
Thanks, Bicycle. I'll have your links in the description of this. I'll tag you as well, and hopefully I wish you best of luck, especially you and your community over on Twitch now. Appreciate you coming on and giving us the insight as to just everything that's been going on over at Mixer. Is there any final thoughts that you want to share before we wrap up?
The only final thought I have is just, you know, for all the Mixer partners out there, and there's so many of you, and I wish I could name you all, and I would all in one go, but you know, poor Brian here doesn't need to listen to that. So the thing here is from what I am seeing, it seems as though we were playing the stream game on hard mode. It was like Mixer was the Dark Souls of streaming, if you will. And a lot of the guys who came from Mixer and went to Twitch, they were very talented, and you had to be super talented. And the reason why was because you were trying to get people to try a new service, register an account, engage, and then monetize it. A service that they otherwise would not have been a part of. So YouTube, for example, everybody's on YouTube, right? Who's not on YouTube? You know, or Twitch, for example, which was the original streaming platform. So everybody was on Twitch, right? Mixer was this whole brand new thing. So in order for you to attract an audience, you had to actually be talented. It was streaming on hard mode. And then for you to grow an audience that way is insane. And suddenly we're finding that as these people actually go over to Twitch and they're like, oh my gosh, these are interesting personalities. These are talented people. They you know, they have really engaging streams. It's because we had to, man. it was rough, dude, over on Mixer. And I'm so excited because all these people I knew who would always kill it, you know, if the platform just got out of the way and let them kill it, are killing it now, man. It makes me so happy. So, you know, if you're caught up in that transition, my words of encouragement is now you're playing the game on easy mode now. If you need help, come talk to me. I'm available. Okay?
Well, guys, be sure to check out DM on Twitch, on Twitter, on YouTube. Again, check out his links. Especially fantastic guy. Always a great conversation. Fantastic stream to check out as well. So I've been very happy to be able to call you a friend and be able to continue to watch your career. And hopefully you find the easy mode as a great way to win. As well as all the Mixer partners making their way, whether you're on Facebook or on Twitch or on YouTube. It's going to be an interesting, it's already an interesting 2020, historic, if you will. And so we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, for Ginger Prime Gaming, thank you so much for watching. Let us know if you got any questions in the comments below. We're here to help. And I'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. This video is sponsored by me. If you guys like podcast and long form content, I hope you check out Ginger Gaming Radio. Link will be in the description of this video below. So if you're still watching this video, thank you, and check out the new channel for more content, and hopefully you enjoy. Thank you.